What are your early estimates for the global box office total for the Marvels? I'm guessing 650, 675 million. Will the film make a profit? So I'm not going to step on my own shoes in terms of the budgets of Marvel films because that's a topic coming up. However, 650 to 675 million dollars will not be a profit based on current Marvel movie budgets. It's just not going to be a profit. This will not be profitable.
No.
650 to 675 million dollars does sound about right. The 600 to 700 million range for this movie sounds about right. If Marvel and Disney start playing silly buggers, then you're looking at 850 to 900 million dollars. But even then, that's still not enough to turn a profit.
No way this film makes a profit. No way.
Well, what's your early estimates then for global box office?
Global?
I think 650. I think between 650 to 700 is about.
Yeah,
it's about right.
Yeah, I think that's a fair estimate right there. In between 657, with about a 350 to 380 domestic, is probably where it will end up sitting. It'll be on Disney Plus in a month and a half.
Yes, true. That is true. That is true. Culture.
Wow. All right. It is a relatively unknown and unliked set of circumstances when it comes to the people that are involved in this. You have very little interest in these three characters. That's quite clear. You're looking at a budget for the film that's going to put this at, definitely disappointing, based on some early reporting that came in that they'd already spent about $130 million on some things, and that the film was not nearly ready to be done, finished, completed. So this budget, I'm just going to say it's getting the 250 treatment by the end of the day, which is probably accurate. So it'll never make a profit, because I think that it's going to perform between Thor: Love and Thunder and Eternals domestically. I think domestic number is going to be about 270. So that gives it about 330 international. So that puts you at what? 600 million? It's going to make about 600 million.
God damn.
I think it's going to make you be lucky to make 500 million.
Wow, Andre. Oh my goodness.
I mean, I generally don't go and predict box office because I'm not that good at that.
Right.
But I submit Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania currently sits at 475 million.
Wow.
This was supposed to be a saga pushing movie. This is the one that was widely publicized as this is the movie you have to see. This is where we really start the new saga, and it has not crossed 500 million. Look at the leads of this movie. You have Captain Marvel. Ignore completely the fact that first movie did 1 billion. That was a fluke. For one thing, probably the box office was forfeited somewhat, but more importantly, it opened in the absolute prime of the MCU. Between Avengers Infinity War and Endgame. Right between the two is where it opened, in absolute prime. But what happened since? I mean, they have Q ratings and stuff like that. They know how well the character has been received. She's barely appeared in anything since, only done cameos. And Brie Larson was even downgraded from her own movie and I do believe that's because they feel that she can't support her own Captain Marvel movie. And so she is left to co-star with the stars of 2 Disney Plus series. So basically, this is a movie that requires homework. In order for you to get this movie, you need to have seen WandaVision, and you need to have seen the Marvels, which is what? The least seen of all the Marvel Disney Plus series? I believe it is. Apparently, it's one of the best ones, but in terms of pure viewership, it is one of the least viewed, if not the least viewed. And now these characters, these loser characters that no one really cares about, that have never been able to sustain a comic on their own, that basically are kind of like the trope that if you have like 3 D celebrities together, they make up 1 B celebrity. That's kind of what we have going for us right here, right? I honestly don't see this movie making 600 million. Like, you guys, you could all be right, but I think you're optimistic here. I see this movie making 400 or 500 million range, like Ant-Man.
Yeah, well, I think so.
It wouldn't surprise me.
One thing which I think adds credence to your statement is how low Secret Invasion is doing on viewership and ratings. And Secret Invasion is set before this.
Also, Secret Invasion is something that was set up in the Captain Marvel post-credit scene. I mean, this is an indication for how much excitement there is for anything Captain Marvel, because that's really, where has Secret Invasion been set up? Well, in Captain Marvel, and in the Spider-Man No Way Home post-credit scene, and in one of the Phase 4 movies. That's pretty much it. And look at what it's doing. It's doing absolute shit. I mean, I guess it's doing somewhat better than Miss Marvel, but it's right down there.
No, I think it's got the worst ratings. I think it's the worst viewership. I'm pretty certain.
Yeah, maybe it's even worse rated than Miss Marvel, and that's actually even worse for this movie, because what that tells you is that interest in the Marvel brand is even on the further decline. People aren't even coming for a Disney Plus series.
Well, they're not even. No. Scratch that. They're not even coming for a Disney Plus series. They're not even coming for a Nick Fury series.
Exactly.
Nick Fury.
Exactly. And now then, why the hell would people then go to the theater to see a follow-up to Disney Plus series and that bitch that everyone cheered when she was punched by Thanos?
Well, there you go, Nicky D.
It's sad when Samuel L. can't even bring in an audience.
So I think all of you saying like 600-700 million. I mean, yeah, you could be right, but I think you're being wildly optimistic here.
Yeah, it's kind of old estimates, maybe.
400-500. That's where I see this movie going.
Okay.
And also keep in mind, we are now in the post-Flash world. People have had it with superhero movies, and that is because of shit Marvel movies.
It's a good point.
That is true.